We're going to be discussing everything about low voltage lighting, things that you didn't know, things that you knew and you had misconceptions about. Let's talk to Mike Teolis from Colorbeam. Welcome, Mike.
Thanks, Frank. Looking forward to spending the next few minutes with you in the inaugural Frankie P webcast.
Well, we're looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be genuine. It's going to be unique. And most of all, what I want to really discuss today with you is, the Colorbeam brand, how it came to be, and all things of low voltage lighting that we can actually give some information to designers and architects and homeowners and potentially some dealers that are on the fence and not doing, low voltage lighting right now.
Looking forward to it. There's a lot that's happening in the world of lighting. There's probably more innovation in the last 10 years than there's been in the first 130 years, and we're excited to be bringing just tremendous lighting solutions to builders and architects and homeowners that are really driving our business forward, and the ability for our resellers to capture a non-existent market opportunity in the past. As we move to low voltage lighting, it allows AV integrators a tremendous business opportunity that we're proud to have started probably about 7 years ago. And today we're seeing guys like you and other AV guys really stepping in and driving immense revenue and profitability to projects by adding not only lighting control, but fixtures, which is what we're all about.
Sure. So tell me a little bit as far as the history. How did it come about? Because obviously you didn't start manufacturing just, out of the blue, right?
No, my partner and I, Morris, who founded the company about 7 years ago, we've been integrators like you for 25 years. And probably about 10 years ago, we started toying with the idea of low voltage. As LED became more and more prevalent in the market, we realized that we didn't need an infrastructure that existed for 130 years. We don't need line voltage anymore to drive an LED. Today, we're driving almost 2,000 lumens on a CAT cable.
Wow.
So as technology evolves, we're at a point in time in the lighting industry where there's going to be a huge shift in the way we do things. Why? Because technology allows us to do it. It's no different than the car industry moving from gasoline to electric as we know it. Lighting is really at a point in time where there's going to be a huge shift in the way we do it, and we're excited to bring that to our customers.
That's great. And so tell me a little about, as far as the lighting, that was back in, when did you guys start Colorbeam, the manufacturing process?
2017 is when we founded the company.
Okay.
So it's a short amount of time. It feels like a long time, but in 7 years, I think we've come a long way, and you can attest to that and the success that you're having with our products.
Yeah, so pretty much at the end of the day, you guys were kind of the pioneers. You guys were talking about low voltage lighting before anybody was even thinking, LED.
Yeah, we were thinking about bringing, low voltage lighting has existed in some capacity, a little bit more on the commercial side for many years, but bringing a technology to our common market, which is luxury residential. Yeah, we are the pioneers. We were talking about tunability long before anyone really knew what tunable was. And today, tunable and scene settings and what we can do with light, we are the pioneers in that. We're proud of that.
Yeah. So, all I can say is, for myself as, my company, Freedom Technologies, down here in Naples, we've got started and we brought Colorbeam on probably about 3.5, 4 years now. It's done amazing wonders for us as a company, and we're providing so many amazing fixtures. That's the thing, it's so sexy. It's a beautiful fixture, and the amount of output that you can get out of a small fixture like this without having the Romex and stuff like that out of a Cat 6 is really mind-blowing, let's put it that way. So what are some of the other benefits as far as the, low voltage lighting? Let's discuss that, because I think that's important for the consumers, number one, to know about. And then obviously for the designers, architects, and then finally we'll touch upon the builders a little bit.
Sure. Well, from a homeowner's perspective, the low voltage lighting component of what we do allows them to step into something that's a lot greener. There's a lot of conversation in the marketplace about being greener, being more efficient. Energy efficiency is a big play with us. So from a homeowner's point of view, the low voltage aspect does bring a little bit of that, but the features and benefits such as tunability, wellness, circadian rhythm, lighting, all of the innovations that are really driving better lighting going forward is really what the value proposition is from Colorbeam. You're going to hear more and more about better, healthier lighting, how we can now drive a healthier way of living through lighting. And that's going to be a huge component of what we do going forward. So from a homeowner's perspective, it's living with better light. We've always been in homes or in different types of spaces where people say the lighting is horrible. Well, today, we have technology that allows us to live in a better lit, better environment, and that's residential, it's commercial, it's hospitality. It's no longer about turning a light on and off with a chain. Sure. The technology is leaps and bounds where we were 5-10 years ago, and will continue to evolve rapidly.
Mm-hmm. And it's still amazing to me as a dealer, as a integrator, I love lighting, all aspects of it, whether it's interior, exterior, landscape lighting, all the different things that we can do, and we still have builders in the country, or even, here in Naples in the marketplace, that, I walk into homes that are $10 million, and they're using a $13 Halo fixture from Home Depot, with a 130-degree disc in there. And I sit there and question, I'm like, who would do that, number one, to a client, and put that kind of lighting in, into a home? It's crazy to me.
I think that's just a lack of knowing what's available out there and the evolution in lighting. And that conversation is starting to change with luxury builders. They're starting to understand that lighting is not an evil necessity in a home. It's actually part of building a better home. Luxury builders compete with other luxury builders, and now they're starting to understand that a better lighting technology allows them to build a better home, which makes them a better builder. So that is, our job as manufacturers to educate the market, whether it's builders, designers, specifiers. And it's also on your plate to educate builders from an installation perspective, from a reseller perspective, what you can now offer them. And lighting is just one component of a lot of things that go into a house, but it's an important one. And now you're bringing the entire package to the builder and ultimately to the homeowner with a lighting solution that, quite frankly, didn't exist 5 or 10 years ago. Yeah.
So, the other thing is, as far as for a consumer, so if I'm building a home right now, where would you say that they should start, this process? Because we typically like to say, hey, the earlier the better. Me as an AV integrator, I like to be put into the game in the beginning when the house is being designed. Most of the time, we don't have that luxury. We get kind of thrown in mid-process, budgets are maxed out, stuff like that is already gone, and now you're like, wow, and the customer says, I wish I would have done that if I would have known earlier.
Well, that's our biggest challenge at Colorbeam, because the infrastructure does require the pulling of Cat cable. So if the Romex is already pulled, then that's a little bit of a challenge for us and for you to change that spec. It's probably not going to happen. So AV integrators like yourselves are now becoming a lot more relevant to builders and specifiers, because now you're including the lighting component to what you can do, which is driving a better, healthier home. So hopefully lighting is going to allow you guys to now become part of the team much earlier on in the project, which allows you to now discuss with the homeowner or with the builder or with the specifier what a better lighting solution is going to provide ultimately the homeowner. That's our goal, is that we're all in the project much earlier. AV guys have typically been the last guys in, as you've just mentioned.
And that's the one thing that's, my 26-year career has driven me crazy, because I so many times have heard over my career, and, with the one company that we had in Pennsylvania and now here, is that I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known. And that's something that, really this podcast is about. We want to educate the consumers and everyone else to make these decisions, happen sooner. Because, it's a home, you're building it, and you might as well put what you can obviously afford in there out of the get-go. Because resale value, that's another thing that we're going to touch upon later with the builder aspect and how we want to discuss that. But it just drives me crazy.
All the AV guys in the AV industry has always been recognized as the toys and the last guys in. And, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, lighting is now allowing some of our key integrators. No, it's part of the home, and it's becoming a very important part of the home, which means that now you're being brought in much earlier as a lighting specifier. One of the things that we do to help you and ultimately the homeowner is we have a team of lighting designers on staff, which you can leverage through us as an authorized Colorbeam reseller. So you're adding a whole lot of value at the outset of the project, by being in early enough, we can support you guys through an actual proper professional lighting design, which goes a long way in providing a better lighting solution. The worst thing we can do is just throw 4 lights per room and call it a day. That really does nothing, especially for a luxury home. It's about layers of light. It's about more fixtures, controllable fixtures, identifying and highlighting the things that are important to the customer, the things that the homeowner has spent money on, whether it's art, whether it's countertops, whether it's furniture. We want to highlight that. And we want to highlight that through specific lighting applications, not just 4 lights in the ceiling. So when through us, you can now bring that value to the project, you're going to become more and more relevant much earlier in the project, which means that you have an opportunity to specify a better lighting solution ultimately for the homeowner.
Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I always see when we install Colorbeam in a home is when you've got the tunable white, we're going from 2,500 up to 6,000 or 6,500. The furniture, the rugs, the artwork, it's amazing. The wood grain on some of the cabinets that people have, and you adjust that tunability, it just makes things pop. And that's where I think the value is there. So that is beautiful. The designers are starting to get on board, when they see that. Plus, I think from a designer perspective, we've got all kinds of beautiful, fit and finishes, square, round. The Venus, that all you have is 1.5 inch, aperture that's out of the drywall. So how do you guys, when it comes to the design aspect, do you guys get input from designers and based on what your fixtures are going to be like, or you guys pretty much do everything in-house?
We'll always leverage the homeowner's relationship. So if there is a designer and she wants to be involved on specification as far as round or square, white or black, we'll always involve everyone in the project. There's 2 key features that are really driving better lighting. One is tunable, which you've just touched on, and the other one is CRI. We won't get into the weeds of that today, but the color rendering index of a high quality fixture means that colors are reproduced the way they should be, whether it's the grain of, whether it's the leather, whether it's the countertops and so on. Tunability is really about being able to control the look and feel of a room at a press of a button. If we're having a quiet romantic dinner, we don't want 5,000 Kelvin blue light. Well, with tunability, at a press of a button, we have whatever we want based on time of day, homeowner's lifestyle, application, what's going on in the room at the time. So the flexibility of having a very dynamic lighting solution goes well beyond turning a light on and off. It's about creating an atmosphere, a feel to the space based on all those things that I just mentioned. That goes a long way in creating a better look and feel for the home. And we live and breathe with lighting all day, every day.
Sure. And I even know now with daylight savings time, I'm miserable in the morning. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. The sun's not coming up till 7:30. So it's a little crazy. And hence, even up north where I came from in Pennsylvania, come November, December, 3:45, it's dark. So I know the whole circadian rhythm and having the fixtures based on your control system or other control systems out there, you can have that light give you that same feel throughout the day in the home for folks that go through depression and stuff like that. So it's a whole nother thing. That's why we're talking about healthier homes.
So the basis of circadian rhythm lighting is based on tunability. Without tunability, you can't do that. We were at the forefront of tunable and circadian rhythm lighting as well. Now, it's still early from a science perspective. Colorbeam takes a step back and says, hey, we'll let the science dictate the benefits of it, but from a technology perspective, you're absolutely right. We deliver that today through our solutions, which means that we're trying to match as best as possible the color of artificial light to the color of natural sunlight at any time during the day, and that is automatically shifted as the day goes on. The benefits of circadian rhythm lighting, as I mentioned, are still early. They're starting to see some positive signs in senior residences where being exposed to healthier, better life is having a positive impact. Are we saying that we're going to live 15 years longer tomorrow? No, Colorbeam is not ready to say that. But from a technology perspective, simply the ability to change the look and feel of a room based on tunable light goes a long way in just feeling better, right? So That's
I know it
it's
makes
gonna
me
be,
feel happier. You know,
well,
when I got nice lighter evening, I'm into, we haven't talked about RGB, which is red, green, and blue. And then you have the availability in white. A lot of the homes that we've done here in Naples, the exterior of the home and the lanais we've done with the RGBW fixtures. There has been some science done that if you're running red lights on your lanai, that the bugs they don't like the frequency of that and they stay away. I know at my personal place, I run them orange and red, and I haven't had a mosquito bite in 7 years on my lanai, and I don't have a cage or a pool cage down here. So pretty interesting. Don't know if you've got anything about that. Have you heard that at all?
we haven't specifically from manufacturer, but there's things that are coming up that weren't necessarily on our features and benefits list when we created Colorbeam, whether it's lower EMF producing solution, whether it's bugs, whether it's wellness applications. Those are all things that are coming as a result of development in science and just basically the evolution of technology in the lighting area. So it's an exciting time to be in lighting. We're providing our common customers, which are typically on the higher end luxury residential space. But to your point, colored lighting plays a big role in just being cool. Sure. And we do recognize ourselves or like to think of ourselves as the cool lighting company. We're able to completely transition the look and feel of a room, whether it's residential, whether it's commercial, whether it's a cigar lounge, whether it's a restaurant. There's no other way for anyone to transition the look and feel of a room other than lighting. You can't build walls every 12 hours to in a restaurant application to create a different dynamic. With lighting, you can completely transition the look and feel of any space at a press of a button. And those are the cool innovations in lighting that are bringing a lot of value to residential and commercial space.
Yeah, so for us, here in Naples, we've done obviously high-end residential. Anyone that knows me, and I'm a huge, cigar connoisseur, and I pretty much have seen me at Burn or Vicente. We used, Colorbeam and the strip lighting and everything there to adjust the mood and feel. And it's a lot of fun because we'll have whoever's the favorite football game that day. We make the colors go green or blue or whatever it is. And I just think it's so much fun. And it does, it makes you feel happy. And I think if you're living a happy life, you are gonna live longer, hopefully, right? And on that same topic of healthier homes, you mentioned EMF, and I know that's something that there has been some studies done on already. So let's talk about that a little bit. 110 volts and 120 volts and Romex, that magnetic field is much bigger, right? Than having the Cat 6 that we're running. So let's talk about that a little bit.
And that's another aspect of Colorbeam lighting that really wasn't on our radar when we brought this to market. But the low voltage infrastructure running everything on 48 volts and over Cat cable is coming to light in a way that really wasn't expected. We're now looked at as the lowest EMF producing lighting manufacturer in the world, which means that, again, it's a better,
that's a big
healthier
deal.
Well, it sounds, and what's happening is that we're coming across customers that are very ill affected by EMF, flicker, and so on. So if we can deliver a lighting solution that has a health benefit to people, one, we're happy as a company. I think we're doing a great thing. And it seems that it's something that's going to be very positive for us and our customers. There's people out there that cater strictly to people that are affected by EMF and flicker, and being recognized as a solution that helps people is pretty exciting.
Mm-hmm. Same part of the topic. Obviously, we're talking about Romex, the traditional way of things are wired. We're using Cat 6, right? So I like to say that we're more green. Aside from the energy efficiency and the quality of the light and the output of the light that your fixtures are outputting, is that we're using less copper. So that is a positive, I think, for anyone in this day and age. Whether you're into conserving and recycling and stuff like that, I think it's something that we all should be looking at, is to try to conserve where we can, and this obviously does it.
It certainly does, and quite frankly, there's absolutely no reason anymore. I mean, we're not lighting up stadiums on low voltage infrastructure yet, but when it comes to architectural lighting and what we do, there's absolutely no reason to continue using 110 volt infrastructure and Romex as we know it to light up a 9 or 14 watt LED bulb that's putting out 2,000 lumens. That infrastructure is gone. We just don't need it anymore. So when we're replacing Romex with Cat cable, we're reducing the amount of copper in the wire dramatically by 80%. 80% means it's a cost savings because Romex is certainly much more expensive than a Cat cable, and the copper compound of Romex is tenfold. So we're saving on, and we are being greener in one way, shape, or form because we're reducing the need of copper in our wiring, which is just not needed.
I know as an integrator here in Southwest Florida, I've been getting more and more requests by builders and designers about low voltage lighting. So, what's in it for the builders? I know we talked about designers a little bit, but I think we can kind of cover. I know from a designer standpoint, we've got another beautiful fixture here. This one where you can mud in into the drywall, and all you have is a beautiful, opening like that. And for me, I mean that's sexy. I mean it's a beautiful product along with some of the other stuff that we have. So.
Well, from a builder's perspective, we talked about before, it's allowing them to build a better home. Better lighting is contributing to an overall better home. As a matter of fact, we touched on it a little bit earlier, but we're getting more and more requests from electricians to resell Colorbeam or know a little bit more about Colorbeam. Today, we don't sell to electricians. That's not our market. You guys are the guys that understand the technology of what Colorbeam does. Sure. But electricians are reaching out, and it's quite frankly, it's validating what we've done and what we brought to market. They're realizing that lighting really is going to go to, and it's not in 10 years, it's today. I'm tired of saying the future of lighting is Colorbeam. We're really at a point in time where the shift is now. We have the technology to move lighting into a low voltage infrastructure. Electricians are recognizing it for two reasons. One, an easier and simpler way to deploy a solution. They're recognizing the costs of Cat cable as pennies on the dollar versus Romex, another reason why they're very interested in Colorbeam. And they're just overall understanding that we are at a point in time where we have the technology to move and shift the lighting industry to low voltage. From a designer's perspective, there's lighting designers out there and there's designers. Typically, the designers are not necessarily involved in the lighting portion of a project, which means that you guys have a unique opportunity to be very relevant in a project through the Colorbeam lighting and design services. So together as a team, as a manufacturer, as an integrator, as a designer, as a builder, we're all contributing to building a better home. And that's our goal at Colorbeam.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as, the fixtures, obviously this isn't a, $10, $15 fixture. When it comes to lifespan, longevity, so on and so forth, what are we looking at on the Colorbeam fixtures?
We rate our fixtures typically at a mean operating performance of 50,000 hours conservatively. Okay. In residential, 50,000 hours is a lot of time. It's like a long time. It's, on average, it's going to be like a 30-year fixture, simply because lights in general in a home are not on all day, every day. Sure. So it's a long lifetime. We have
so it's a good investment.
It's a good investment.
And all those years of beautiful lighting,
yeah,
and the benefits that we'll get. That I love it. I really love it. Every time we do a home, I'm like, man, I wish everybody would be doing low voltage lighting, especially on the color side. My wife doesn't appreciate the color too much. Every time I have my room or the outside and my red, greens, or blues, stuff like that, she comes and hits her button and goes to the white. Which brings me to another topic of discussion is, the way homes have been wired for the past 100 years. Traditionally, Romex comes in, goes to a switch, comes out, and now we've got 8 recessed lights, that are turning on. And we can dim them, right? But with doing it this way, we're in essence have much more flexibility on which fixtures are turning on, how they're turning on, whether it's artwork, whether it's lights right over a vase with flowers on a table, stuff like that. So I think that's a unique value-added benefit to that as well, right?
In a well-designed lighting solution, it's really about creating various layers of light, creating many more zones of light. So it's not just 4 or 8 lights that turn on together as a load. It's about being able to segregate X amount of fixtures to accomplish different things. We want maybe just 2 or 3 fixtures that are independently controlled over an island. We may want X amount of fixtures that are highlighting the unbelievable grain in the cabinets, artwork, could be statues, could be all of the things that are important to the homeowner and in which he's invested a lot of money in should be highlighted. We should, and if you've got all the lights on in a room at the same time, it really brings no value to the space. It's about identifying certain things in the room through lighting and layers of light, as we call it, that really make a room spectacular. It's about the combination of recessed lighting, tape light, linear solutions, all of those things working together make a room a whole lot more appealing than, again, just what we've been doing forever is just having 8 or 10 or 12 lights as a load. That really doesn't do anything in our luxury space.
And, we've been talking about, obviously, recessed cans, beautiful product. And you guys, obviously, a big part of your business is the linear, and tape lighting. I know we just remodeled our master bath, and, I've got all my niches. I've got the little seat, we've got it all in there. So in the evening when I want to go and take a shower, everything's blue. I like blue. And I got my music playing, I take my shower. Again, my wife loves bright white, because she wants to, that's what she likes. So, but LED strip lighting has come such a long way since my days of when I had a company called Martini Lighting, believe it or not, that you never knew about. I was ahead of the curve, but too far before it turned mainstream. And I should have kept that going. Our tagline was, "We get you lit," and I had a little martini glass. So it was...
You're always ahead of the curve, Frankie.
Ahead of the curve.
You're always ahead of the curve.
So talk a little bit about, strip lighting, where it can be used, so on and so forth.
So yeah, we are a unique lighting manufacturer that offers our customers and our resellers three categories of lighting. One is obviously recessed cans or fixtures, as we call it, landscape lighting, on-house lighting, and tape light. Tape light is used in linear applications. We'll see that in coves. We'll see it under cabinet, toe kick. Linear light, tape light is an industry in itself, and it's more and more adopted in more and more modern homes where we're using it as another layer of light. So when I talk about layers of light, every different type of light, whether it's a chandelier, whether it's tape light, whether it's your recessed lights, it's all of those layers working together to make a room stand out, to be spectacular, as we talked about. So yeah, tape light is a big part of Colorbeam. We do everything from tunable white to RGB WW. It's just another product category at Colorbeam, and it really accents and complements everything else that we do.
And I know the one that I really like from you guys have kind of the bendable neon that you can do in, certain things, and it's IP68 rated, right? So it can get water directly on it. Some of it, I believe, actually they're safe by pools. And stuff like that. So I've seen a lot of stuff done, and we as a company, Freedom Technologies, we have actually added, in our accounting, we have linear lighting, tape lighting as a category now in my, in our QuickBooks. So I can exactly see how much of that, business that we're doing. We are seeing a lot of business where we're going in and replacing a lot of coves that had the old incandescent rope light, 110 volt. So we're doing, a lot of that as well. And it's very easily, you can pop a transformer up there. It's already being controlled. You put a dimmable transformer, and now everyone can update their lighting. And, for me, the indirect aspect of it, evening time, is just so beautiful.
We always talk about that. I mean, whether new integrators that are coming into the category want to delve day one into recessed lights, some do, some don't. You were ahead of the curve and doing whole home projects. But lighting or tape light is a great place to start. In a lot of cases, it's an afterthought. So you guys coming in with the technology at the end, in some cases, it's easier to wire for tape light. So it's a component that you guys can add even if you're further down the road in the project cycle. So it's a great add-on. It brings a lot of coolness to the space. And it's a nice category for integrators to get their feet wet.
Yeah, there's so the new technology that's out there, we've been playing with the digital tape that's out there now. I just got a strip from Amazon that I'm messing around with, and it's amazing because every LED chip is individually controlled. A lot of fun. You can control it via DMX, create scenes and stuff like that. So the other thing that when we talk about linear lighting, I see myself working with a lot of the cabinet designers in town, kitchen cabinets, and it's the aluminum extrusions, you know, that are available. It's not just a piece of strip under a cabinet anymore. So you guys have a very wide array and offering in the aluminum extrusions, right?
Absolutely. We never recommend the tape light be installed without the aluminum extrusion, because the aluminum extrusion is actually the heat sink. So installing tape light in most cases, unless it's a I'm not going to say a low-cost, low-end solution, but if it's
out there.
They're out there. But if they're not putting off a lot of heat, it's less important. But when you have a higher-end product, it's putting out some heat off the chips. If you don't have that aluminum track as a heat sink, it's really going to affect the lifespan of the product. From an extrusion perspective, we have trim, we have trimless. Trimless is always considered a higher-end product, whether it's tape light or whether it's recessed lights. So we do have a full complement of tracks, as we call them, for linear applications.
And you know, I'm a huge fan, especially when I travel to Europe, and I think they've been ahead of the curve when it comes to a lot of this linear lighting, where they cut it into the drywall and it's all mudded, and you've got lines. They do designs, they do it on ceilings and stuff like that. A lot of opportunities, you know, for linear lighting as well as that. And you touched upon landscape lighting. What are you guys offering when you have landscape lighting? Is it full RGBW, just white? What do you guys have?
Our outdoor lighting is exactly like our indoor. We don't do anything that's not tunable white or full RGBW.
Oh,
and
that's
it's powered,
awesome.
And it's all low voltage. It's all powered on the same cat cable. It all ties back into the same head end of DMX decoders and power supplies. So our outdoor solution, especially for the Florida market, is salt air rated, which is very important.
We need that down here because this environment eats everything up.
It's crazy. So yeah, we're excited about our new portfolio of outdoor products, which is just shipping now.
Well, we just got our first batch,
Oh,
so
good.
we're looking forward to installing it. Yeah, it's going to be it's fun. We did all the wires, we ran all the wires. It was under slabs. We've got the RGBW spots, and this is my favorite part because kind of the whole back of this home, once you see it. If you've ever been to the Marriott in Marco Island, you walk through the main lobby and you got those stairs and you feel like you're in a different country. I mean, it's just so beautiful. That's what this home, not too far from here, offers. You walk through the front door, the great room. All the doors open up to palm trees. And my goal was we did all RGBW outside in the balconies and everything else. So when we have a party, I wanted the landscape lighting to all be able to match the same color rendition. You know, some other dealers out there like the mix and match, you know, manufacturers, you're not going to get the same colors, you know.
No, absolutely not. And that's one of the benefits of Colorbeam and having one manufacturer that can do all three product categories using the same chipsets. Is if you want 2700 Kelvin, for example, on all three product categories, it's exactly the same. And from a design perspective, the last thing you want is to have all these different layers of light that are supposedly or technically be at the same Kelvin level, but they're not. And you cannot get that by using different manufacturers because no one uses the same chips. So by having one manufacturer that uses the same chips in all three product categories, you do get consistency.
No, and that's that's really was one of the big reasons why we decided to work with Colorbeam. And like I said, it's been going on almost 4 years. And to be quite honest, all of the jobs that we've done, we've always gotten compliments from clients. They come back and say, you know what, we were a little concerned about spending the additional amount of money, and I, as the salesperson, as your technology advisor, I like to call myself, kind of forced the topic, forced it and said, you know what, you're going to thank me one day. You're going to thank me one day. So, I'm excited with that. And then, the other thing as a dealer installing the product, the service that you guys provide, is fabulous. Whether we've needed anything, whether it was something that needed to get replaced, I mean, you guys are on it. So, for anybody out there that's thinking about, using Colorbeam, from my standpoint and, being a dealer for the past 4 years has been nothing but amazing. So aside from having a healthier home. And there's one other thing that I just thought of that I want to cover. We talked about healthier, we talked about greener, but we kind of missed one of the most important parts, which is very crucial to our daily lives, is a well-lit home is a secure home.
Absolutely.
You know?
A police force will tell you that the best security for a home is a well-lit home. So whether that includes landscape lighting or on-home, call it on-house lighting, you guys as technology specialists can tie that into motion sensors and motion detection and so on. So yeah, lighting is the number one thing that you can add to your home that makes it a safer, secure space.
So the one thing that we do with the automation company Luxon that we install, and it integrates with the security, so all the outside lights flash red, you know, when the alarm starts going off. Kind of a cool feature. The other thing that we do is when the water alarm goes off, any of the lights that are inside the house that are they turn blue, you know, and they flash. So again, for a home, someone that may be impaired, you know, hearing impaired or something like that, you know, it's a good thing to be able to, you know, do colors. So unique applications, and it's all there.
And that's why we're excited. You know, early on we had to make a decision as to our channel and who we sold through. And obviously there's you know, electricians have been selling lighting for a long time, obviously. But they're not necessarily familiar with the technology that we do. And it's exciting to work with companies like yours and others that can really step up the lighting to a whole new level by adding motion and detection and some really cool components that at the end of the day, we're driving just a better lighting solution for our end users, which is exciting because lighting plays such a vital role in building a better home. And that's starting to be understood more and more every day, where lighting is the thing that you live and breathe with every day. You may sell them a $250,000 sound system or that projector, but it's not used.
Hey, I like my $250,000 sound systems, okay?
You can sell those all day, but I can tell you for a fact that the homeowners that I visited, it's the lighting that they enjoy the most because they live and breathe it every single day. Right?
They're using it every day.
It makes the house spectacular.
Awesome.